Who were the Olmec Kings? Who were the Olmec Kings? What are their names? In this video, I will reveal some of the names of the Olmec rulers. Now that we can read Olmec, we discover important information about the Olmec Kings and the Olmec political system. The Olmec inscriptions record the names and deeds of many political officials, religious leaders, and kings. The Olmec inscriptions indicate that each Olmec town was ruled by either a governor or a king, and that there was a recognized religious leader for the entire community. The Olmecs were organized into three castes. At the top were the elite farmers. From this class came the kings and emperors. The second caste was made up of the law. The law were artisans. They were metal workers and stone masons. The last caste was made up of the commoners. The Olmec king was usually referred to as Tu. The Olmec term for governor was Ku. Interestingly, some of the Olmec rulers, when you read the Olmec inscriptions, were referred to as the Ku and Tu. This may suggest that the Olmec civilization may have been organized into a confederation of city-states, led by a recognized emperor. The Olmec emperor may have appointed the local leaders, or Ku, as governors. The fact that some Olmec rulers refer to themselves as Ku, Tu, or both governor and king, may reflect the Olmec emperor's appointment of conquered kings as governors over Olmec cities they formerly mastered as a result of divine right. Among the Olmec scepters were a symbol of authority. As a result, sometimes you find scepters on many Olmec artifacts. One of the most interesting Olmec documents is the mask from Rio Pesqueiro, Veracruz. According to the inscription on the mask, it was worn by a king Bada. Bada was recognized as the local Ku and also as the chief law or artisan in the community. Jose Serrano discovered the first Olmec head in 1862 at Tres Zapatas. Mr. Serrano, given the physical features of the Olmec head he found, was sure that they depicted an African. Today, there are 17 Olmec heads, so far discovered in Mexico. These heads have been found in different locations. 10 heads have been found at San Lorenzo, 4 heads at La Venta, and 2 heads at Tres Zapatas, and 1 head at La Cobata. Controversy surrounds the Olmec heads. Some researchers believe that they represent Mongoloid people, while other researchers are sure the Olmec heads are portraits of African rulers who formerly led many Olmec cities due to the African features that characterize these heads. Now that we can read the Olmec script, we know the rules of these personages. We know their names, and we know that each head represented an Olmec ruler. The colossal heads were standalone portraits of individual Olmec rulers. The headdresses on the colossal heads are the characteristic football helmet. The colossal heads were found at the earliest Olmec sites in the Olmec homeland. The headdress of each colossal head records the name of the individual Olmec ruler. So as you can see, the Olmec heads are not just stone portraits of rulers, they're also strict Olmec information about their kings, and also the kings are labeled on these stone heads. Each Olmec ruler has a unique insignia that can be read using the symbols of the Olmec writing system. Most Olmec heads were buried and probably moved from their original placement. Ignacio Bernal notes that these heads may have originally been aligned to architectural monuments, given the fact that Monument 1 head from La Venta stands at the foot of the Great Pyramid. The hypothesis of Ignacio Bernal is supported by the stela of Bipopo, found at Cas Cajal. In September 2006, researchers announced the discovery of the Cas Cajal tablet. This tablet, originally found in 1999, came from a gravel quarry in the village of Cascajal, in the municipality of Lumos de Daca y Chapa in Veracruz, Mexico. This site is located near San Lorenzo. The Cascajal tablet has been dated to the Olmec San Lorenzo Tenochtitlan period, or around 950 BC. The Cascajal tablet is an obituary. This obituary on the Cascajal tablet may be written about one of the royals among the Olmec heads found at San Lorenzo. This was my original theory. The interesting thing was that the Cascajal tablet related to a personage who is depicted in San Lorenzo Monument 3. The way that we did this is that when you look at San Lorenzo Monument, we find that many of the symbols on the San Lorenzo Monument agree with symbols on the Cascajal tablet. The Olmec writing on the Cascajal tablet is an obituary for King Bipo. The writing is written in hieroglyphic Olmec. Hieroglyphic Olmec includes multiple linear Olmec signs, which are joined together to make pictures of animals, faces, and other objects. Now I'm going to read a translation of the Cascajal tablet. Reading the Cascajal tablet from right to left, we have the following. Bipo lays in state in the tomb, desiring to be endowed with mysterious faculties. The abode is possessed by the governor, Bipopo. B was an artisan, desirous to be consecrated to the divinity, and he merits thou offer of libations. Admiration for the cult specialist is hemisphere tomb. The inheritance of thou vital spirit is consecration to the divinity. In a place of righteous admiration, pure B is in a pure abode. A pure mark of admiration is his hemispheric tomb. Here lays low the celebrity, B, he is gone. The place of righteousness is the pure hemispheric tomb. Thou art obedient to the order. Hold upright the order, B, Po, and the divinity of the sacred code. Pure admiration this place of B's vital spirit. Truly, this is a place consecrated to the divinity and propriety. Lay low the celebrity B, to go to love the mystic order. Thou vivid image of the race, B, the pure governor and devotee of the order lies in this hemispheric tomb. He desires to be a talisman effective in providing one with virtue. He merits thou offer of libations. Command respect this place of admiration. Thou sacred inheritance is propriety. The governor B commands existence in a unique state. In this ruler's hemispheric tomb, the royal B was a vigorous man. The pure habitation of a ruler obedient to the order. The abode is possessed by the governor B. Admiration to you who art obedient to the order. Pure admiration for this tomb. Thou hold upright the pure law. Pure admiration for this tomb. It acts as a talisman effective in providing one with virtue. Bipo, a pure man of wonder, whose inheritance is consecration to the divinity. Bipo lays in the state in the tomb, desire to be endowed with mysterious faculties. Bipo lays in state in the tomb. This tomb is a sacred object, a place of righteous wonder. B's tomb is in accord with the law. B exists in a unique and pure state. The abode of the governor is pure. The inheritance of this ruler, Bipopo, is joy. In this tomb of King B lays low a celebrity. He is gone. The tomb of B is a dormitory of love, a place consecrated to the divinity. Thou, the vivid image of the race, love the mystic order. He merits your offer of libation. This translation of the Cascajal tablet makes it clear that the tablet was written for a local ruler in San Lorenzo called Bipo. This tablet indicates that Bipo's tomb was recognized as a sacred site. It also indicates that the Olmec Kings believed that if they offered libations at the tombs of their rulers, they would gain blessings. This Cascajal tablet, according to the road builders at the village where the Cascajal tablet was found, was located in a mound. The fact that a mound existed where the tablet was found offers considerable support to the idea that the mound where the tablet was found is the tomb of Bipopo. Also, the fact that it was found in a mound and The tablet mentions a mound where it was found, shows that there's agreement between my decipherment of Olmec and the Cascajou tablet. There's also other interesting inscriptions that relate to various Olmec kings. Some of the Olmec kings are Negroid, but then also there were colonial Olmec centers. And in these colonial Olmec centers, there were people who had adopted Olmec culture. They may not have necessarily been Olmec descent, but they may have been people who had married Olmec, or they seem to show a mixture of maybe African and Mongoloid features. A very interesting king, dating between 600 and 900 BC, was a ruler at Guerrero. His name was Poingabe. There's also an important tablet from Guerrero of a multi-green stone that also mentions King Poingabe and his building of a great temple at this site. The Guerrero itself makes it clear that Poingabe was recognized as a member of the craftsman class. He was ruler of the place where these artifacts were found. This cell from Guerrero also makes it clear that Poingabe was probably buried in the pyramid. This view is supported by the Olmec Guerrero tablet. This artifact was made of the same stone as the teal mask and the Guerrero celt. Recently, a mask of Poingabe was recently discovered and published. The mask of Poingabe has an inscription written on the inside of the mask. On the back of the teal mask, we find the inscription. There are 6 columns of text on the teal mask. Some researchers refer to this writing as Epi-Olmec, or Isthmian. In reality, this is just a hieroglyphic form of Olmec writing. This form of writing combines 2 or more singular Olmec signs to form messages. In the first column of the teal mask inscription, we read the following. Calls here the conferring of all virtue to this good abode. Admiration indeed, O governor. Indeed, you are a wonder. Thou art a spirit of tranquility. Thou art like the jaguar, a master of the bush. Righteousness takes root here in this tomb of Napo-Ngabe. This habitation of the devotee is a habitation of propriety. Order Napo-Ngabe. This object of respect to be envoy on a mission, to hold upright purity. He who is a powerful spirit in thine tomb, righteousness takes root here in your tomb. Napo-Ngabe, a boundless source of great spiritual tranquility is your abode. The tomb is powerful. Lay low here the celebrity in the tomb to realize spiritual tranquility. This ruler was quite interesting. We also have another interesting Olmec ruler. And one of the most interesting political elites of Olmec was Bu. Bu is a kneeling figure from Veracruz. He is known in the various books on the Olmecs as a shaman in transformation. In reading the inscriptions on the head of this figure, we discovered that Bu was a member of the stonemason caste, who later became governor of Veracruz. Thus we find, in a sense, again, just like the Olmec heads, we find it on the Bu figure, his name and his occupation is mentioned on inscriptions that are on the top of his head. The major Epi-Olmec inscriptions have also been deciphered. These inscriptions are found in jaguar pyramids found under Mayan pyramids. On the many pyramids found in Guatemala and Belize, we find stucco-molded jaguar pyramids. These pyramids with jaguar mask and laurel ring predate all the Mayan pyramids. They are found at San Bartolo, Huachinango, Tikal, and Cerros. It is becoming increasingly clear that the Olmec played a prominent role in the rise of Mayan civilization. In Guatemala, we find jaguar stucco mask on the pyramids of El Morado, structure 34, Cerros, structure SC2nd, E7 sub at Tikalik, Ushachatun, and structure 5D22, second at Tikal. These pyramid masks are identical to Olmec jaguar masks. Stela C. Trezobates, La Venta, sarcophagus, and Monument 15 at La Venta. There are interesting Epi-Olmec inscriptions associated with the San Bartolo mural. The San Bartolo mural is identical to the faces on the Chalchupa, El Salvador Olmec maize god, and the figure wearing the maize god mask at La Vinta Monument 44. The results of the research indicate that the hieroglyphics associated with Guatemalan ancient tombs and the monuments from El Bao, Abaj, Tacalic, Chiapa de Corzo, and Tezopates have Mayan-type glyphs and are different from classic Mayan writing, but identical to the Epi-Olmec signs on the side panels of the Mojara monument. The San Bartolo, Guatemala murals are very beautiful. They were discovered by William Saturno of the University of New Hampshire. These murals were found in an unexcavated pyramid. Entering the looter's trench, Dr. Saturno dug into the pyramid and discovered the murals. Much of the mural was destroyed when the Maya built another pyramid over the original structure. In the San Bartolo mural, we see pictures of coronation of an epic Olmec king. The San Bartolo pyramid has two murals. One of the murals is of a procession of people on the boat. The other mural is of King Talik sitting on his pyramid. On the boat, there are a number of figures moving from right to left. We see four figures standing nearest to the end of the boat. These figures are carrying bundles raised above their heads. In front of these figures, we see several symbols. These symbols provide context to the procession. There are a number of female figures on the boat. The woman near the corn god has writing symbols on her face. The kneeling figure holding the vase on the far left side toward the end has words Gyo-Ti. Gyo-Ti means righteous cult specialist on her cheek. The standing female figure in front of the last three symbols placed in front of the person carrying has the glyphs Ti. She is righteous, written on her cheek. Most researchers have assumed that this pyramid at San Bartolo was built by the Maya. Although this is a popular view, this pyramid was probably built by the Olmec, and the Maya probably built a new pyramid over the original Olmec pyramid. The person in the coronation scene was a governor. Two of the longest Epi-Olmec inscriptions come from Tuxtla. The Epi-Olmec inscriptions record character dates, in addition to important information on the reigns of Governor Tutu at Tuxtla and King Yope of Mujara. Yope was born on 21st of May, 143 AD. He is recognized as the ruler of Muyaro and also the Segyo, a religious leader with considerable wonder-making ability. This is the Mujara inscription is very important because we find that Yope was not just the king, he was also recognized as the main religious leader in the area. Now we can read the face of the Mujara stela. Granted, Mujara 1 was published before the Mujara inscription, but I never got around to deciphering the text. The first column of the Mujara inscription reads as follows, row 1. Itakiyo, ipokise, itakiyo, which means, thou sacred rising as a vital spirit exists now. Thou pure protector, oh, you are pure, Kise. Column 2, we see Badayo, the great Da-yo. Da is the word that means kind of like it's a title, like we would say king or royalty or something like that. So Da means is a title for a king or royalty. In line 3, we see Sepo Da-yo, which reads, the victorious and pure Da-yo. Line 4, we see Potu, which means pure birth, on, and then we see these numerals, 585335. And they can be interpreted as May 21st, 143 AD. In line 6, we have Sigyo, Sigyo. And under Sigyo, we have E, snake. Sigyo is a surname given to an infant whose people ascribe the intervention of a divinity. You see. So the entirety of this inscription reads, thou sacred rising exists now. Thou the pure protector, the great Da-yo, the victorious and pure Da-yo, the pure birth was on May 21st, 143 AD. Throughout the sea, Gyo, thou art like a snake. So in other words, we find that Yope is a very important Epi-Olmec ruler, and Ope, he left us a very important inscription. And I think this inscription tells us a lot about how people lived in those days. And it's very important when you remember that as Seigyo, Yope appears to have had great knowledge of sorcery, or Niyama. Se is a foot or foundation in the Olmec language. It represents the beginning of knowledge. The Se symbolizes beginning and advance of success and power. The Se represents in Seigyo, it represents man's progression in pursuit of knowledge. Since Se means foundation and Yo is spiritual knowledge, Seigyo would equal foundation spiritual knowledge. Niyama is the co-power of the special energy of supernatural origin. Among the Olmec, Niyama is considered the source of power behind every task. Among the Olmec, the pinnacle of potency is the knowledge of sorcery. Sorcery is important among the Olmec because of the fact that it gives them power. Another Olmec ruler was Ki. Ki is buried in Tomb 1 at Rio Azul in Guatemala. Under another pyramid, we find a picture of King Kele. King Kele was the ruler buried at Tikal, beneath structure 5D33 second. In summary, the Native American traditions make it clear that they were not the first people to inhabit the area associated with Olmec archaeology. The settlers of the area were probably Manding-speaking people from northwest Africa. These Manding-speaking people came to Mexico in 12 waves of immigrants around 1200 BC. The Manding-speaking ancestors of the Olmecs came from Sahara Zone of North Africa. Here the Proto-Olmec left their earliest inscriptions at Uwedmurtek. They took a full-fledged literate culture to Mexico. This view is supported by both 1, our ability to read the Olmec inscriptions, 2, confirmation that the Mayan term for writing Sib is of Mandi origin, and 3, the symbols for Mayan writing are cognate to the Mandi writing system used in Africa. Moreover, the evidence presented in this video makes it clear that the people who introduced writing to the Maya when they met at Nanuco may have been or were the Olmecs. Discovered Olmec sites such as La Venta offering number 4 provide the absolute proof of African Olmec contact. The presence of readable African writing on Olmec celts, masks, and statues is the genuine African artifact found in controlled excavations in the New World that confirms the Afrocentric claims of an African origin of the Olmecs. The existence of African writing on Olmec artifacts is confirmation of the African influence among the Olmecs. It is an historical fact that fails to minimize the role of Native Americans as actors in their own history, because the Africanized Olmec people had their own civilization, while the Aztecs and Maya had theirs. This Afrocentric view of ancient American history, instead of denigrating Native Americans, acknowledges the truth that all 3 civilizations made their own unique contributions to the great ancient history of Mesoamerica. Because we have to remember that the original people who lived in much of Mesoamerica, the Chiaco, Negritos, were black.